What if I told you that being a slow learner has nothing to do with your intelligence, but everything to do with how you are learning? In this video, I'll teach you how to break free from slow learning habits and master any skill or subject faster than ever before, starting today. Hello future achievers, you are watching Study with OAT, where we make academic success a lifestyle. Let's dive into how to overcome slow learning and learn anything fast. I'll be sharing 5 unique tips and tools that you can use today to change the landscape of your learning. Tip number 1. Using the Pareto Principle. It is also known as the 80-20 rule, which suggests that 80% of the results come from 20% of the effort. That means that 20% of the course material often accounts for 80% of the key concepts, critical information, or exam questions. To apply this principle to make studying faster, you have to 1. Identify the 20%, that is the most critical topics or concepts. You can do this by checking out the learning objectives, which are found at the beginning of the topic, or the practice questions at the end of the topic to identify the most repeated and important information. Or the best way that I suggest is by using AI. You first upload the slide and ask it to list out the important parts of the slide. Feel free to screenshot the prompt I use or check it out in the description box. 2. You then focus intensely on mastering those key areas. And 3. Allocate less time to the less important topics, that's the 80%. By prioritizing the most important 20%, you will likely retain 80% of the essential information and perform better in your exams. When you focus on the few vital points of each topic, you'll be amazed about how faster you can learn. Tip number 2. Active recall. If you think you study slowly and studying takes forever, and even when you are done you realize that you've forgotten everything that you've learned, this is probably because you study passively instead of actively. There are 3 main ways to practice active recall so that you remember everything you've learned in the speed of light. First, self-questioning. This is all about turning your notes into questions. Instead of passively studying, pause and ask yourself, what is the main point here? Or can I explain this concept without looking at my notes? Write down these questions and revisit them frequently. This forces your brain to retrieve information and strengthens your memory. 2. Flashcards. They are one of the simplest and most effective tools for active recall. Write down questions on one side and answers on the other. Apps like Quizlet makes this easier. The key here is to test yourself repeatedly over time and focus on the cards you struggle with the most. 3. Practice testing. Set up mini quizzes for yourself using past questions, mock tests, or even creating your own by uploading your slide to ChatGPT and asking it to generate practice questions for you. Simulate an exam environment by using time limits to challenge your brain under pressure. This way, you not only practice active recall, but also build confidence for your actual tests or exams. As you can see, active recall is a game changer for studying faster and more effectively, even if you are a slow learner. But here's the thing, knowing how to study is only half the battle. If you can't manage your time well, you won't have enough opportunities to practice these techniques. That's why I made a video on how to master time management in 2025, where I break down the unique strategies to take control of your schedule, prioritize your task, and make time for everything that matters. Click here or click the link in the description box to watch it. Tip number 3. Don't be faster than your shadow. Have you ever experienced reading a new topic, then you realize that you have come across a new concept and you don't know what this means? So you stop studying and go online, be it on Google or watching a YouTube video to better understand the concept, which only makes your study time even longer than it should be, only to realize that the explanation of the concept was somewhere in the slide. To combat this, any thoughts on new concepts you have the urge to browse about, simply write it down above your notes using a red pen preferably, and wait until you are done studying to make your research on it. You can also apply this to any distractions that you typically face or think about while you are studying. Just write them down and only attend to them after studying. And if distractions are something you struggle with, check out my video on how to master discipline in 2025. In it, I share unique tips on how to build focus, eliminate bad habits, and stay committed to your goals. Click here or click the link in the description box to watch it. Tip number 4, multisensory learning. This is all about engaging multiple senses like sight, sound, touch, and even movement. Instead of relying on one way of studying, you can combine different sensory inputs to make information stick faster and longer. For example, when studying a concept, you can see it by using mind maps or videos to learn, hear it by reading your notes out loud or listening to the lectures, touch it by jotting things down by hand or using flashcards, and move with it by incorporating actions like walking while reciting the concepts or acting out the processes. This approach is especially helpful for slow learners because it offers different ways to absorb and reinforce the information, speeding up the learning process overall. Tip number 5, adopt a growth mindset. I have talked about this before in my How to Be That Student in 2024 video, which you can check out here. But you need to adopt a growth mindset, especially if you consider yourself a slow learner. Others may make fun of you or make you feel less, but with a growth mindset, you will embody the idea that your intelligence and abilities can be developed with effort and persistence. Remember, learning isn't a race, it's a journey, and all the tips I've mentioned are just tools in your toolkit. Combine it with patience, practice, and persistence, and with time you will find your rhythm and notice real progress. Just stay committed and don't be too hard on yourself when things get tough. Everyone learns at their own pace. Of course, before you go, this is your homework chapter. Actionable steps you can take today to change the speed at which you learn. Number 1, practice the 80-20 rule. Number 2, download Quizlets and use it to practice active recall. Number 3, practice using a mind map to summarize all that you've studied in a topic. If you've made it this far, be sure to comment down a lightning emoji to let me know that you watched this video to the end. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to like, subscribe, and turn on post notifications so you do not miss out on any future videos. Thank you once again, and I'll see you in my next video.